Okay, so let's continue, shall we? Now the first thing I want to do is something that I actually forgot to do, was click on model, right click, sorry, not right click, idiot, I'm a fool. Control A, reset location, rotation, and scale. Okay, now if we right click, shade smooth, it should look a lot better. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and create this coal looking interior of it. So let's do that. So go into the top view by pressing number 7. Actually, first of all, what I want to do is rotate this to be at an easier angle to work with. So press, in the top view, press R and hold down Control. But if you notice, it's not going to work. It's not going to. We basically want this edge to be perfectly horizontal. So if you notice, when we do that, press R, hold down Control. If you look at this, if you look at the top right where it says Transform under Rotation, between 20 and 25, we need to be somewhere in there. So 22.5. So R, and then we're going to type in 22.5, like that. Okay, which means that this line, this edge is perfectly horizontal. So once we've done that, we want to create a plane. So Shift A, Mesh, Plane. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go into edit mode by pressing Tab, 3 on the numpad, A to make sure everything's selected, right click and subdivide. Now we want this to be maybe, I'm going to say about, because we want to add some nice little details in there, but we can always do that after with another subdivision. But for the moment we just want to get some nice height and make it look kind of nice, I guess. So 5, I'm going to say maybe 10. And there, that'll do, that's pretty cool. Come down here and turn the fractal up. And we can always come in and change some things. Don't make it too much because it's going to be really jagged and it's going to not look that good. So GZ, move it up to about there. I mean, that'll do for me. That'll do. So of course, with this beginning stage, we just want to not make it look too fancy, but actually want to maybe subdivide it once more. Maybe, so I've just right clicked it and then subdivided it once more. Okay, that'll do. So now what we need to do is we need to come in and just, shape it out a bit more. So let's go into 1 for vertice mode. I'm just going to select some of these. I'm going to press O, which is for the proportional editing. I'm going to press G, and we're just going to move some of these things. Sorry, let's press G and Z to restrain it to the axis that we want. Actually, come out of edit mode first of all, right click, shade smooth. I mean, you might be happy with that, but personally, me, I'm not really too happy about how that dips down and such. So we're going to come in and edit it. So let's maybe come over here. Let's vertex outside. G, Z. Let's see. And you can change the fall off of the proportional editing brush by using this scroll wheel. G, Z. Okay. G, Z. As I said, we're just gonna GZ. We're just making it kind of not look so jagged in some places, We're going to add another subdivision surface on top of this, but we're just initially getting the, hold on, shift, the shape that we like. This peak's a bit too high, GZ. is get something that you're pretty happy with. Okay, so now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to cut off this excess. And to do that, we're going to use the good old bisect tool. So come down here, hold down your left mouse button and select the bisect tool. Come to the top view, and we're going to press 3 on the keyboard for face selection. Press A, and then we're going to use the bisect tool. Now, I'm still getting used to this, so I won't mess up, but I'll have to step back once, because depending on which direction you bisect from, will depending on which side of the bisection, if that's even a word, will be removed. I'll show you what I mean. So we want to cut everything behind this edge. So I've gone from left to right. Let's see if that worked. Okay, that worked that time. But was that close enough? Let's see. Nope. Do that again. Bisect it from left, click and drag left to right. Now using this arrow here, you can just click and drag it, and we want to come behind this line here. We want it all to be inside this octagonal shape. So once we've done that, clear outer. Now I'm not entirely sure how you can just easily get in and out of the bisect tool. But yeah, I guess you just press A to select everything again. Now, using that logic, if left to right moved everything above this, that means that right to left should move everything below this. So let's see if that works. Right to left, using this arrow to move it above, making sure that this orange line here doesn't go beyond this point. Clear outer. There we go. Okay. A again. Now I think if I remember this correctly, going from downwards to upwards is what we need to do here. So again, move this orange line behind this point. Somewhere there. Clear outer. Yep. A. We're going to go from top to bottom this time. Like that. Clear outer. Okay. A. Now these diagonal ones could be tricky, because, well, they won't be tricky to do. I'm just saying that I'm not entirely sure which direction you're supposed to go. So if we went left to right, and that means, in theory, if I go from left to right diagonally, it should work. Okay. And now we're going to go from, we want to clear that side, so rather than going that way, we're going to go this way. So, oops, I'm rotating it there, aren't I? Silly person. Okay. Be careful not to hit the blue circle, because that'll rotate it. Okay. Clear outer. Okay. So now let's try going from this way to this way. Okay, cool. So that way to that way cleared that side, so that means in theory this way to that way should clear this side. So what we're doing is we just, when you've made your cut and you've done that thing, so make your cut like this, upwards, like that, click on clear outer, okay, and then when you want to make a new cut, just press A to select all the faces, and then just make a new cut. Come down here, clear outer, but also remember that it is dependent on the direction that you click and drag from. So if you click from right to left and it clears the wrong side, then just go from left to right. I'm not sure of the logic behind it. I haven't really looked too much into it. I mean, I've only just been using this as of yesterday, really. So anyway, so that looks pretty cool. Let's edit mode come out of that. There we go. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to add some interesting little details to make it look as though little, you know, bits of coal are sticking out. So to do that, it's quite easy. All we need to do is add a, come over here, make sure your object selected. Actually, let's name this to, so click on your Firepit floor and click on, sorry, press F2 and call it, I'm just going to call it Kindling. And then click on this, F2, Firepit underscore base. Okay, so come back to your Kindling and add modifier, subdivision surface. Now add 2 of these. Now what we're going to do is, this is going to be pretty cool actually. Come into this mode and, sorry, this mode, it's not a mode. Well, it is, edit mode. By pressing tab, make sure that you got face selection mode, and then just what we're going to do is we're going to go around and we're going to select a face and we're going to press E and move it up. Select another one over here, maybe E, move it up. And if you come out of edit mode, you'll see that we're starting to get these sort of little faces. But you see, I'm not too happy with that. I'm not too happy with how large these squares are. So let's bring this up to maybe 3. I'm not sure if that's even the width, to be honest with you, but we can always just inset them. So let's bring this back down to 2, and we can just click on a face, press I, inset it a little bit, E, extrude. Over here, that one really doesn't need to be inset, so extrude upwards. Okay, maybe this one needs to be inset a little bit. Inset, E for extrude. Over here, I for inset, E for extrude. What I want you guys to do is just go around, and I'm going to pause the video and, you know, do this myself, but I'd like you guys to just go around and, you know, do that. I mean, they kind of look like potatoes in a way, don't they? But that's okay. Let's go around and do that to multiple parts. Go around and just inset them, extrude them, inset, extrude. So I'm going to pause the video and then I'm going to do this a couple more times and I will get back to you in a minute. Just a bit of a tip. Say if you want to that's the wrong one. Say if you want to, I don't know, make smaller ones, you can just click on a face, right click, subdivide it, and then just click on these new faces, face, extrude individual faces, move them like that, come back in here, GZ, just to give a bit more variation. G, maybe move that across a little bit. G, you know, just to add a bit more variation, because you don't want it to look too uniform. So yeah, I think for me, I mean, I'm not really do much with this, and you know, the texture will make up. I mean, we're not going to texture it, probably not. I'll see how I feel. I might UVW and wrap it. I don't know yet. We'll see. But the texture will make up a lot of the work anyway. So these will just be some nice little extra details. You don't want too many, especially if it's going to be like a game asset. I mean, with this size, it wouldn't be too much of a problem. But anyway, so now that we've done that, what you could do is just come around and maybe add a load more if you want to. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So to finish up, what we're going to do is we're going to make these spike things that go around. That's pretty easy to do. So first of all, what we want to do is go into the top view by pressing 7 on the numpad. Now I want to come over, I want to select my Firepit and come over here to, where's it gone? Here we go. come over here to viewport display and turn on wireframe so I can see what I'm actually doing here. And we want them to sit inside of each of these. Now there are a couple of ways you can do this. You can either make one, mirror it around, or make one and then rotate it around the axis. It kind of looks like a hot cross bun, doesn't it? So what I want to do is press number 3 on the keypad, on the, sorry, number 3 on edit mode, number 3, and then Shift S, cursor to build origin. Sorry, no, Shift S, cursor to selected, my mistake. Okay, so select a face, Shift S, cursor to selected. Okay, come out of edit mode, then press Shift A, mesh, cube. That's way too big obviously, so just zoom out. Let's just hide our little lady here, or a chap if you've got a chap in yours, I don't know. Come out here, press S and scale it down quite substantially. If that's too big, scale it down even more. So that'll do. Okay, so now what I want to do is rotate my camera underneath it, press tab, press Alt Z, and then 3 on the keyboard so you can get your face selection, and select this bottom face, X for X-ray, F for face. So that's a quick way of doing it. X for deletion, F for face. That's a fast way of deleting the face. I recommend that you guys make a habit of this sort of thing, you know, to delete faces that won't be seen in the game itself. As you create things, you know, if you think that face isn't going to be seen, you just delete it, because it just, you know, it's just a faster way of, you know, rather than having to come back and work on it. Okay, so now that we've done that, we want to move this up. GZ. So it kind of sits just inside like that. As you can see, it kind of sits just inside the model. So now I want to make this a bit taller. So tab for edit mode, 1 for vertices, Alt C for X-ray mode. That's what I'm doing. What are you doing, silly banana? Come out of edit mode again. Go back into edit mode. What's it doing that for? It's not letting me. What does that even mean? Selected edges faces required. What? I must have pressed something by mistake. Which reminds me, actually, we need to save our project out, don't we? File, save as. And we're going to call it Blender, my stuff. Save it as Firepit. Okay. Okay. It should work again now. Actually, what I want to do first of all, so once you've saved it out, click on your little cube here, press Control A, scale A, rotation A, location, tab mode. Okay. Oh, I know why, it's because it's still got the blipping knife tool selected, the bisect tool. Make sure you've deselected that. Come back up here to select box. Okay. GZ. To about there. Scale it inwards. So S for scale, scale in. I should really turn my keys on, shouldn't I? Never done this before, you see, so inside Blender. So I'll have to figure out how to do that one. Tool, options. I'll figure it out for the next one, for the next tutorial. So yeah, I'll figure it out for the next one. So once we've got the height that we want, that's a bit too high for me. So GZ, bring it back down a bit. I want to bring these in a bit closer to this. So select those, and then move it in the y-axis. G, Y. Okay. Make these bottom ones a bit sort of small because I think they are a bit too thick. Hold Z, scale, move them in a little bit like that. Okay. Okay. Hold Z. I want to maybe move these in on the X as well. So scale X. That. There we go. That'll do. I think actually that'll do. Yeah, you just mess around with your geometry until you're happy with the size of the spike. Okay. So once we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the top view, and we're just going to rotate it so that this edge here is kind of perpendicular. It sort of aligns up with this edge. So press R and then hold down. Actually, what we need to do, because if you notice our object, its center is in the center of the grid. So we need to right click on our object here, set origin to geometry. So if that happens to you, where the orange dot is in the middle here, just right click your object, and then that's because I reset the location and everything like that. So just right click it and set origin to geometry. So now if we press R and then we hold down control, I mean that's obviously not accurate, but what we can do is come and use our gizmo tool over here, come from global to normal, and then just move it up to about there, which is kind of roughly where we want it to be. Yeah, that's about right, I'd say. 7 for top view. And then we're going to come back up here, press R, then just rotate it a little bit like that. You know, just until it's, you know, it's not mechanical engineering. I mean, this thing obviously wouldn't be perfectly made anyway. Just until this edge is aligned with that one. So maybe a bit more this way. That'll do for me. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to mirror these around. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to first of all reset our 3D cursor to the center of the world. So Shift S, cursor to build origin. Now what we're going to do is right click on this, set origin to 3D cursor. Okay. So now we just come up here to mirror. Now what's happened here is we've moved the 3D cursor, but we haven't reset its position. So Control A, location. There we go. Mirror. It's still not working. Let's see. I know, let's do Control A, rotation. There we go. So reset the scale and just make sure everything's reset. So location and rotation. Because we did rotate it, didn't we? So, okay. So we'll do X and we'll do Y. Okay. Then we'll apply this. So make sure the X and Y is selected with the mirror. Apply. And then go into the top view. Then we're going to press R, then hold up Control. Let me just, we need to duplicate it first. So pay attention up here. We know that we need to rotate this 90 degrees. So just keep an eye on this Z here. So Shift D, instantly right click to hold it in place. R, Control, making sure that you're keeping an eye on those numbers, 85, 90 degrees. There we go. Let's turn this thing's wireframe off. So click on it, come over here, viewport display, wireframe. Okay. So it's looking pretty cool. Okay. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and save this out again. File, save. And I'm going to name these things I'm going to join these together by clicking one, holding down shift, clicking this one, pressing Control J, and then once they've emerged we can press F2 and call them spikes. Keep things nice and organized. Okay, so I will see you guys in the next part where we will now make, we will then, not now, make possibly this here. So I'll see you guys in the next part.